welcome everyone to a new series of the OnTheCourt webinars series, new episode. Today featuring ElPozo Murcia and Spanish International, Marc Tolra. Good evening, Marc. How are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Just before we start, can I just say it is an absolute pleasure to have you here. Okay, so thank you very much for doing that. And also thanks for making the effort to have the interview in English. Okay, so we really appreciate that. We know it's not your first language, so we do really appreciate that. And I think the best way to start this seminar, it would be if you could give us an introduction about yourself, who you are, a little bit about your career up to now, just so, because most people will know you, but there will be some people who will not know. So if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I'll do my best to try to express my feelings in English, and say everything that I want to say. I'm a professional futsal player. Currently, as you said, I'm playing for ElPozo here in Spain, in Murcia, and I've been playing futsal. Right now, it's since since I was 8 years old, and well, I just started playing futsal, I think, and you know that because of you and because another two friends of our infant years, you know, because they told me, you told me guys that I should try it at least, because all that we done back in the moment was play in the streets. So well, I just decided to join you, and well, in our local team, in a local town team, and then as we grew older, and I was able to keep playing since the age of 13 that I was. It was not a trade, of course, but I started to play for Barcelona.
It was a trade. It was a trade.
It was jackpot, because Barca was after my little brother.
That's true. Yeah.
He's the better one out of of our two. But yes, we joined, my brother and I, the Football Club Barcelona fan base teams, formation teams. And yes, I started with 13 years, at the age of 13, and keep playing all the academic years. I don't know if it's the word, but all the base. Since I was 22, that was my first. No, since I was 19, that I became a senior, and then I started my first 3 years of senior. They were my first 3 years of professional player. I played in the second team, playing in the second division A, what was called back in the day the Silver League. And then the next year I was, I don't know the word, Sadit.
I was loaned.
Yeah, I was loaned to Pamplona, to the Pamplona team, Shota. Back then it was Magna Europea, for 2 years, and then I came back to Barcelona, where I spent 3 years, and then I got some trouble there, and I got kicked out some way. And then I went back last season I played for Benfica in Portugal, and then this year, last summer, I was traded again to play here in ElPozo. And well, in the last 5 years, I've been playing with the national team, as you said before, and well, that was my overall career since now.
Yeah, very good. Thanks for that. So I think you've already answered that, but I wanted to ask you, at which stage of your career did you become a professional futsal player? So when did you say, okay, I made it, I've made it?
Yeah. Well, I think there's no such thing as I made it, because it's a continuous thing, you know. It's never a thing that, okay, that's it, because everybody know that. I mean, it's all about the process, you know. It's not one thing, one goal, to reach one goal and it's over. But for me, I said it was at 19 that I became professional, just because at 19 it was my first contract as professional, because before that I was getting, I don't know how is it said, but it was becas. I don't know how's yeah, scholarships, and then mute scholarships. So for me, emotionally, I think professionally was until or since I played for the juvenile category, that is 17, 18. That was the moment that I was thinking to myself that, okay, maybe I can get out of it. Maybe I can get something out of it. Maybe I can reach the certain level. Maybe I can play in the first division. I never thought that I would, be at this level, because everything was, as I say, everything was a process. One thing came, I reached one goal, and then I set up another goal, and then I set up another goal, and it was, like an updating myself. My kind of place, and my mentality bubble, because it's not, as I said, one thing that I was okay. For example, I had something very clear when I was loaned to Shota, that in my mind was very clear, and I made like a promise that if by 25 years old I wasn't playing for Barcelona, that for me is the best team in the world, but in the context of futsal, it's the best, either because it's the club that it's in my country, in my town. It's the club that I love, the club that educate me, and it's near my friends, near my family, near my wife, or my partner in life.
Your fiance.
Yeah, and well, that was my first goal as a professional. I want to come back to play for Barcelona. If I'm 25 and I didn't get that, I was starting to, or I would start to think about letting go or not play as professional, because as we all know, futsal is not that global sport.
Yeah.
Economically speaking.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me stop you there, because at the beginning of your futsal career, you were combining your studies with professional futsal. Mm-hmm. So how did you manage to perform at both? Was it a hard period? Was it easy?
Yeah, I mean, when we are 18, 19, 20 years old, we had a lot of energy, and yeah, the first 3 years or 2 years and a half of my college career, I was able perfectly to manage, and to keep passing the years and approve all the material, all the career.
All the modules. Yeah.
And the thing was, when I was playing for Shota, because my university was only presential, I had to be there to keep up with the others, but I tried and I managed to. Maybe I didn't get assigned to all the capacities. Maybe I left half or so, but I kept studying, and I kept approving, and I kept passing. Then when I came back for Barcelona, because Barcelona as playing, for example, UEFA, as playing also for the national team, it became more futsal focused. And then I never stopped, but it was not so. I was not so able to keep passing as easily as I was able in the first 2 years. I'm still having my issues to finish the career. It's just 2 modules left, but I never stopped. That's the important thing that I think.
Good stuff. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to ask you is a very ambiguous question, but what's the lifestyle of a professional futsal player like? So in terms of like, how often do you train? How committed you have to be? Because obviously, England in England, futsal is not professional. So, but at some point we want to get to that level. So, could you give us like an idea of what is it to play futsal professionally in Spain?
Well, this that I'm gonna say it maybe comes for news, or because maybe you don't know, but here in Spain right now we're having trouble with this because futsal is not considered as professional legally as football or the ACB, the basketball league, because we are in another box, and we are having trouble because, for example, right now in this situation of the virus, the coronavirus situation, we are like 2 to 3 weeks before after football. Football, the first league here is gonna start the next week, I think, or it's 9.
Yeah, next week. Yeah.
Yeah, June 9th or more or less, and we just started this week to start training in the facilities, like no contact, whatever, by groups, whatever. But what I mean is that futsal, it's not professional. I think it's not professional anywhere. If we compare it to other structures like football in this case. But bear in mind, for me, I'm training like 4 years a day since I was 16, and then when I got to 19, when I started my professional career, I started to train 5 days a week, and almost every week we had two periods, 2 days, 2 periods. For example, Monday 1, Tuesday 2 periods, Wednesday 1, Thursday 2 periods, Friday 1.
So double session.
Yeah.
Is that combining sessions on court and then some sort of like strength and conditioning sessions?
Yeah, normally or usually when we got 2 periods at a double session, it's because there's a more conditional emphasis. Like in the first session early in the morning, it's a gym session, like strength capabilities, and just in the gym, and then maybe like 20 to 25 minutes to transfer those games or those stimulus that we had in the gym, and try to transfer it to the court. But then in the afternoon we play like a normal technical tactical training.
Okay. So before we move into more futsal specific questions, I just wanted to ask you a few more sort of personal questions. Okay, because I know Wardy has very specific questions about futsal. He wants to be like you. Okay, so he's going to ask you a few specific things. But before that, I just wanted to ask you, which one do you think has been the biggest moment of your futsal career?
Well, I got a few. I think for me, my second Spanish Cup was with the first one. Every single year that I played, and at the professional level, I played playoffs and I played the Spanish Cup. And my first biggest moment, it was with Shota, the second Spanish Cup, because we were able to get to the semifinals for the first time. And we played against Barcelona. Yeah, we lost 3-1, I guess. I scored the only goal, but after that game, we were, of course, kicked out of the But in that game, just right there in the court, Marc, the first coach of the Barcelona, told me that I was coming back for sure, and that was a two-way, like I was able to help my team to reach some goal that is special, and then it's special for me because I get some news that I was really expecting, that I was really fighting for and sacrificing and put a lot of effort. And then
so the plans that you had in your career kind of were working nicely, as in you went on loan, you worked hard, and then you impressed the team that was loaning you, playing against them, performing, and then you came back. So
and above that is that I was the only I fichacha, contratation. I was the only player that came the next season for Barcelona.
Okay.
The only signing. Yeah.
Obviously, the other one was to play the final playoff with Barcelona against Inter, although we lost. But play for your team in the Palau Arena in front of I don't know, it was like 5,000 people, and having the chance to win the league, it's something that you have to live. And then the last one, I guess, it was the playing the European Championship for Spain, and because it was a difficult championship for me. It was because I played the first game, and just when I get on the court, I lost some on the first or the second or third.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
They scored the first goal. Then I did the assistance of the draw, but after that I didn't play anymore. The same game, the next game, and the other one. It was like 3 games. I just played for like 4 minutes. It was hard mentally, but it was. I always take my sessions or my work with the national team as a gift. It's an extra. It's not something that I'm obsessed with.
Yeah.
Because if you get obsessed, or at least is what I think, if you get obsessed to go to the national team is the best teams, the best players in the entire world of Spain and nationality. It's a gift always. You represent more than yourself, and for me, it's always that. It's not an obsession. I don't feel that I belong there. Not belonging in terms of I'm always gonna be there because I played for the last 5 years. I want that kind of motivation, not to draw me to sacrifice and to train hard. But of course, it was hard, to be there and not playing, knowing that it was your fault, but you were gonna be able to help your teammates. But I kept inside. I kept in tune with the team, and the opportunity came when I was least expecting it. Semifinals, like I think it was 3 to 4 minutes before break time, halftime, and I just entered, had a couple passes. I felt good, and then out of the blue, I scored the goal, and we were drawing. And it was like everybody was happy. Everybody was happy for me, especially, and I was really confident. Then
it boosted your confidence as well, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was always there. It was not a moment that I thought for myself, oh, that situation sucks. He's not confident with me. He has no confidence with me. He's lost it. I mean, I didn't get it. That's not where my thought was. That's not where my focus was. And I think that's one of the greatest things of the national team, that every player, every part of the staff, everybody that's in there knows what's at stake, and that we need to do 150% of ourselves. We need to give more than we have. And things were going great, and I played the final 2, and bad luck, we lost. But
I mean, you were one of the best players in the final. I mean, it was very unlucky. Portugal managed to win, but you were one of the best players.
I think we played better, but this is futsal and everything. And
so one thing to know from that, it tells you how important it is then the mental aspect. So you didn't have a good start, which must have been very hard, like representing your country and not playing well. But then you kept working hard, you stayed focused, and you were given another opportunity, and you did perform, and ended up being one of the best players in the tournament. So I think it tells you how important it is to stay focused.
For me, what the difference between the elite and the super elite, it's mental, it's mentality. I mean, it's in the mind. Everybody knows mind controls the body. but there's something in the resilience, the keep going, it's like life, but our sport is like so fast, it can change of direction. One game can change of the direction in the spectrum of 2 minutes. Maybe we're losing 3-0, and it's just 2 minutes to final to finish the game, and we know it's not over. Even if we're winning 3-0, we know it's not winning. It's not done. And that's that transfers to your mentality. If you don't have that mentality, if you don't know that, if you every punch you take, every of the life punch, you get like smaller. Like I don't. You have to start. You have to doubt. You start doubting yourself. That's the first step to not take it to the next level. You get in where we are and where you are, and everything, you blame everything around you, everyone around you, and at the end of the day, it's you that you fail the pass, or you didn't score, or it's always in there. Obviously everything, conditional and social, emotional, everything, helps, but the mentality, it's needed. It's what differentiates the best of the great.
Yeah. So that leads me to the next point, which you already mentioned earlier, but your brother was the one who signed for Barca and you went after. So I know you both, and technically your brother is just, realistically, is better than you. Technically, he's one of the best players I've seen with the ball on his feet, but he's never succeeded in futsal. Why would you say that? Is it because of the mental aspect?
Yeah, sure, 100%. I mean, there's a quote going on, that talent doesn't win work if talent doesn't work. Something like that. Talent by itself, it's nothing. I mean, if you have, for example, the always crash between Messi and Cristiano, Messi is 100% talent, and Cristiano is 100% work. I mean,
commitment. Yeah.
I mean, 100%. Talking about the elite of the elite, but that's what more or less happened to my brother and I, because he's exceptionally good technically, even tactically. But the only aspect for me that kept him from going, it was himself. It was his lack of sacrifice, of
and consistency as well.
The resilience that I was talking about. No, because maybe some things that when you got 18 years old or 17 years old, you're in Barcelona, you're in the best team of your national league, you're always winning the games, but you're 18. You've done nothing. I mean, there's a lot of weight ahead of you. And then focusing on external things, or focusing on things that maybe, I'm not getting paid, and this player that is 2 years less than me is getting paid. Why? That's the things that I was talking about, that it kind of gets your mind fuzzy, you see clearly what you want. And my brother now is still playing. He's playing in second division B, and in a team that's gonna play the playoff to pass to the second league A. And he's got that talent, that few people in the world has. But it's nothing if you don't put in the work.
I remember you playing when you were in Barcelona, playing a friendly against your brother when he was playing for another team, and your actual teammates were impressed by your brother's ability and asking you how come he never managed to succeed. So I mean, I think it tells you how much is.
I've always said the same to everybody, and I will always say it because it's true. My brother is better than me, if you extract the context, if we go, because we played some friendly championships in summer, everybody played that. But we were like, I was 19, he was 18, I think. And the people came to see him, and I was playing for Barcelona. I was still playing for Barcelona, but the people, because he's a showman. I mean, he's like Ronaldinho.
Yeah. I think something similar happens in pro futsal. So I'm better than Worthy, but I never get to play any minutes. So I think I get that feeling,
Mentality.
Okay, so shall we move on into the next section? So a couple more personal questions before we go into more futsal specific questions with Worthy. So who would you say is the biggest player you've ever played with? The best player you've ever played with?
Yeah,
it's not biggest, because that's obviously Xavi, because he's about 7 foot.
Yeah, sorry. The best player.
Yeah. For me, it's Wilde.
Wilde, okay.
He's still playing. I don't know where right now. I think it's
in Prague, isn't he?
Yeah, it's in Prague. I have a really good relationship with him. He taught me a lot, but I mean, he's fully understanding of the game. His technical capabilities, from scoring to assisting, and first and foremost, his capability to anticipate everything. For me, it's what I like to. It's what my play is about. To think and to try to anticipate things, to try to fully the contrary, but I cannot score the goals that he scored. I cannot use the left leg as he used to. I mean, it was like playing with him. It was like kind of experience that elevate my play, my understanding of the game. And for me,
okay.
I played with Torras, Jordi Torras too, but I played with him. Like when I was in the second team, I was only training like for weeks. I didn't play. I was not a part of the team. But with Wilde, we played as when I came back. We played just 1 year, but it was. I think it was my best year.
Okay. And then, who would you be is the best player that you've played against?
I think against
some big names.
Yeah, no, but it's not what the people would expect. I think because the best, I don't think. I think that best in a collective sport, focus in one player it has no sense, because nobody plays alone. But bearing in mind this and that, I'm a defensive player. I would like to say that Daniel Siraishi, the one that played the last 5 seasons, I think, or 4 seasons for Inter, and now is currently playing for Barcelona, is the player that, for me, it was really hard to guard him, because his capability to use both legs and to think and to destabilize you, with the body, it was extremely good. I mean, it's not a showman. You expect, or you would expect that I was saying, or I was going to say Ricardinho, for example, because I mean he's one of the best or one of the top. But I know he's just left-sided. I mean, as a defensive player, I know what to do with a left-sided player. So, in my direct games with him, I mean, I handle him really good, or this is what my sense. I'm like direct one-on-one games inside the game. But for me, Daniel, for me, it was really always very difficult to guard him because he was really able to play and to go from one side to the other side, and you never know what he's going to do next.
Okay. And the last one, it would be, who's the best coach you've ever had?
The best coach. I mean, once again, is that word best. I think all of them, all of the coaches that I had a really significant
Yeah, contribution towards, yeah.
always everyone taught me something, you know, either it's good or it's bad, you know. You can learn things by saying, okay, this is what I do not want to do, you know. That's knowledge too. But I think I have to separate, you know, all this thing between the my formation years and my professional years. My formation years were really good, but if I had to say someone, it was, well, Miguel Angel, that was in Palo. That was I had in cadet from 13 to 15, and then my final year, 18 to 19, because he was not much of a coach, but was more like a philosopher. You know, he was one of them that gets that everything is in the mind. You know.
Yeah, is it what we would call in England a manager? Am I right? Worthy the difference between coach and manager? Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Well, was in my formation year, it was him, and then in my professional career, I mean, I would take one thing of everyone that I had, you know, because there's no one coach, there's no one person in the world that does everything right, you know. But I have a great relationship with Imanol in Shota that I learned a lot, because there were my 2 first years in the elite. I had a really good experience there. I made friends. We call each other, you know. And my experience in Barcelona at the first year, as I was I was the little one, you know, in the
youngster, yeah.
Yeah, the youngster, Carmona, and all the staff, the second trainer, the second coach, Kani. I had a really good relationship too. They were all good, all tuning in with the player. They helped each other very good. But I think it's not one. It's not one. I mean, I got something good from all of them, and I got something bad. Surely, from all of them, I got something bad. You know. Something that I wouldn't do.
Which is as important. It's as important as well. Okay, so I think it's a good point now to move on to more specific questions. I think Richard wanted to ask you a few ones, and then we'll go into the public. If you can, everyone who's watching, if you want to just type your questions into the chat, and then as we go, we'll just read them and Marc will answer. But before that, we'll go into Richard. You have a few questions, yeah?
Yep. Good evening, everyone. Hi, Marc.
Hi, Richard.
Good evening to Xavi's girlfriend as well, who's a very prominent picture in the background there. So, yeah, I do have some specific questions, but just listening to your answers with Xavi there, I do have a couple kind of about your career, if that's all right first. So, 13 years old, playing for Barcelona.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's like that you have to bear in mind that I was not, like, Barcelona was not after me, you know. Because I was, and I remember very well, because it's like a funny thing, you know. I was going to I was going to train with Marfil, Santa Coloma, to okay, can I come play with you guys? Because I didn't want to play in my town, you know. And just before we leave with my father to Santa Coloma, my father got a call from the director manager from Barcelona, asking about my brother. You know, they were talking for the last couple of months, and just like that, my father just asked him, okay, I got the older one that is we're going right now to try to or to go to the tryouts in Santa Coloma. Do you think he can go and play with you? And just that year, they created a second team, because Barcelona always had for each category one team. But in the year before, the people that was my age, they win the national championship. So it was like if they kick them all out after winning the national championship, it was like not a good thing, you know. And then they created another team just for with people that was my age. So then the manager that is choose, that's the one that is right now, he said, okay, bring him in and we'll see. And then okay, for me it was like, whoa, you know, I, I didn't saw that coming, you know. But yeah, next couple of months, it was summer and I started go there. We went with my father, brought us there, both of us. We stayed there all the afternoon because my brother trained at the other another time. But I had really that year for me was the year or the season that I had more fun in all my years of not professional, because that was not professional, but it was a step higher, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's crazy being able to say you play for Barcelona at any stage, but at 13 it must have been
Yeah,
a bit crazy.
I think I was not, because futsal is not like football, you know. Where if you saw, if you ever saw, because now you cannot, it's not there anymore. But when where we play, where we train, it was like a court that you can have anywhere in the streets, like concrete, um, I mean, no limits in the sides. You know, if you
Yeah.
if you don't get the ball inside the score, you have to go like 100 meters to get the ball and come back to train. You know, I mean, it was not like fancy. And you know that, oh, I'm playing with Barcelona. I mean, we were dressing with the shirt 2 years before that, the current dressing. You know, it was not like, oh, I'm Barcelona, I'm a big, I'm big. Because in that, when you're a teenager, it could perfectly be that situation. You know, I'm playing for Barcelona and I'm the best. But for us, we kept it really, really normal.
I mean, that must be really helpful. So I'm guessing your family was a key part of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're a Catalan man. I'm guessing Barcelona fan. All your family Barcelona.
Yeah, I know. My parents always. We're not fanatics. I'm not a fanatic, for example, because I don't get the fanaticism. You know, it's just a sport. You know, in sort of way, in some ways, it's like a opium. You know, it's the focus that it keeps your focus of the thing that really matter outside. You know, but then again, we're like children. You know, we're playing for the country team, Barcelona, globally known. And yeah, but my family, they work on the field, you know, from sun to sun, and they always kept me like, okay, you're here now, but you're not outstanding, you're not great, you're not doing anything that it's above the average. You know, you're playing, okay, we're good and we're happy for you. They made always the effort to bring me, to take me back, to wait for me at like 1 in the morning, to my mother to have dinner. She literally would wait for me at 1 o'clock in the morning, just to see me, because I had college and I had training. So, they always did the best for me, what was asked for them, and never told me like, you're the best, you're gonna get it. As a matter of fact, my father always said to me like, you could be better than that. We would want like 15-1, and my father, you lost like 5 passes, like 2 goals. It was not like you're bad, but always to keep me, above the ground. Just
Yeah, it sounds like a really supportive but also challenging childhood.
Yeah, for real.
Cool. So I wanted to go into a couple of kind of specific questions about your game, just to change this a little bit. I think I've got an idea of kind of what I would say your strengths were, having watched you play over the years. What personally do you think they are?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
What are your strengths when you play futsal?
Yeah. Well, I think, as I was saying, my strength is like in my mind. You know, I was never the fastest. I was never the stronger. I was never the, you know, the one that had more agility. I always tried to play with my head. You know, try to anticipate, try to focus on the little signals that are in the environment or are in the body gestures of the adversary, you know, and try to understand the concept of the sport, of our sport, you know, because it's, for me, it's a game of trying to fool the contrary. And well, I'm good at that. And then I have obviously technical and tactical strengths too. I think for me, I think I have a good or a really good assist or pass. And because I'm taller, I have more trouble to move because my center of mass is you know is more up high up height. And but in that sense, I can, my view of the court, of the actions that's happening in the environment, my perspective is wider. You know, I can see much more. It's not like a big deal. You know, it's not like I'm 2 meters or something like that. Yeah, but if my play is that, I know that I always have to look what's happening to make a decision. You know, I always try to look up. I always try to keep my head up and try to not look at the ball, because the ball, I know I have it in my control. And then I have that technical knowledge and that technical capability to pass without looking out the ball. You know, that's what really makes my pass so good, that I don't, because I could literally stare something and find a pass to another totally contrary direction, you know?
Yeah. So I think, I mean, those are basically the points that I thought as well. So the way that you read the game, I would love to spend a full hour talking about that, because I think in England we don't have any appreciation of that. You know,
yeah, it's not only in England. Don't worry, in England.
But I think if you can probably take that more specifically to things like set pieces. I notice you take a lot of set pieces, so kick-ins and corners. You're always the taker.
Okay.
So you know, using your reading of the game with the pass, how do you take a set piece? What do you look for?
I mean, I really like the set piece. I didn't know it was called like that, and I love it. I love tactics, and I love strategy. But as my experience has taught me, is that no matter how good or no matter how many plays you have, it's always the relationship one-on-one with, as I am the one that's kicking the ball, or the one that's making the assist. I'm always trying to talk to my teammates that, man, I need you to tell me what you're going to do, but do not tell me like, okay, it's going, I want the ball here. You know, it has to be like just visual. I mean, with the eyes, you know, and I will literally just look at you. I mean, I don't need to look at the ball, because I know where the ball is, you know, and I know where to put my foot on the ball to get the ball from here to there, or to there, or at that height, you know. So for me, it's always a relationship between the players, between me and the other one. I always literally mark one play, but like 85%, I will not take or pass the ball where it should be, because everybody nowadays study each other. You know, all the teams study each other. All the teams know the plays that the other teams do. So as I said, relationship, and as I said before, and relating to that, this game is about fooling, So for me, for example, I would put my best scorer or my best shooter in a position that creates an illusion, like the defense would say, okay, that's the shooter, okay, the ball is going to go there. And then I would talk with the other one, the one that's supposed to make the block, for example, and I say, okay, you make the block and you let them um, uh, go
Escape.
with. Yeah, you let them escape, and then you just make one step towards me, and I'll pass you the ball, and you'll be free. Because the illusion, the focus is on the other. So, well, that's experience, but that's what the game really is. I mean, taking the focus or exposing the focus in one side and creating another one that totally unexpected in the other side.
So you're always trying to look for the most direct pass, or would you know the one player and you will work with that one player, and then if it happens elsewhere?
I mean, I will literally. I'm not talking just to one or two. I like to talk with everybody because for the same reason. I mean, maybe I would. Okay, the play is for that shooter. That shooter is going to be there. Okay, for the first couple plays, the ball is going to go to him to create even more focus for the defense to say, okay, that play is for him because they already done it. But I always try to, before I get to the ball in the corner, to walk slowly and look at my teammates, and the one, because right now there's not a lot of players that look at me, but if there's one looking at me, I will say to him, okay, that's a play, that's a conversion, a thought, like visual, of course, but I would say like with my eyes, with something that we had arranged, like, okay, it's gonna be there, stay ready, the play is not for you, but remember, I'm watching you.
So who's been the best at working with you on that? I imagine Alex would be quite good at.
Yeah, Alex is really good. The thing is with Alex is that he's always waiting for that, and you need to create first the illusion, you need the play is not for you. The first couple, we're gonna do the play normally to say to the defense that the ball is gonna be there, that after that, as the game goes, we can talk, we can see what the defense going, where the space is. But the one, for example, that I learned and I created that relationship with the most was Wilde and was Diego Zufo.
Yeah, two pretty good players there.
Yeah, not bad at all.
So you mentioned it, and some of the questions, we've got some questions from the group here, which we will answer. But you mentioned it earlier in terms of other teams will analyse set pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think everyone's kind of noticed you like the tactical side of the game a lot. So how do you personally analyse before? Do you do it before a game? Do you do it on a team, on a player? Do you reflect on your game? What kind of analysis do you do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, every team is different. No? For example, in Benfica had everything. You as a player you had all kinds of informations about the other team, like legs, like set pieces, from corners, sidebands. I don't know how to say, but from the goalkeeper, everything. And this player likes to turn himself to the right, turn himself to the left. As defense players, they would give us information about the pivots and the strikers. I don't know how to say it. And then conversely, for example, in Barcelona, some years, it was not really that much. It was like, okay, that's the set piece that they done, and that's it. Just look, and we'll see. But me personally, because I like to focus on the foremost on the legs, like that they are. For example, I know Diego Zufo is a striker with it's a right side player, but I know he likes really likes to in set pieces go to his less good leg. Always. I mean, he's gonna go to his good foot or good leg twice, or three times, but he's always trying to, to surprise you, to surprise the defense. And that's when you play over the years. There's not that much of players. You as you play with them, you keep getting knowledge, you keep getting information. If you want, or if you don't want that information, and you play just like, okay, I don't know who I'm playing with, you're gonna get stuck. But then again, there are players like that. But for me, as my play is like that, it's feeding me information that I need, and it's helping me anticipate the movements that they're gonna do, because I'm not that physical player, or I'm not that technical player.
Yeah.
Let me stop you there, Worthy, for a sec. So we got a couple of questions that are related to what we're talking. Some of them are about like the strengths of a fix, which I think you've already answered. Another one that people are asking is, what adjustments do you have to do to the way you play? What do you have to change when you became a professional? What adjustments to the way you play futsal?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously that when you are 18, 19, 20, 21, the way you eat, it doesn't really matters, But as the years going by, it really has an impact. And more, or above all, right now, our sport, and I think all of the sports that are being played, are getting more and more conditional, more physical, because of the knowledge. We have a lot of new technology to scout the other teams, and to prepare ourselves physically better than 20 years ago or 10 years ago. So the adjustments are, or what kept the elite or the winners above the others, is that little pieces, that details, that things, that those things that maybe it doesn't seem like they have an effect to your play or to your performance, but they really have. Like eating, like resting, like like not resting, but not being like 16 hours seated, or like on the couch. That's because that could be more stressing than resting. It's not rest like, okay, I'm gonna do nothing. It's like rest, like active recovery. Maybe getting on, maybe have some study. Focus your mind on other things, to stress out. But for me, it was like eating healthy, of course, and physical preparation, not just in the training, but I'm always at the facility like 1 hour before, and I do my session, like mobility, stability, drills, because I want to connect with the environment. I want to start to focus, just because at the beginning of the training, I was there yet. I'm not going there like 15 minutes before training, and think, okay, I'm ready. I'm not ready in 15 minutes. So, and as you keep playing, and you get older, these things become more and more important.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting, especially the nutritional aspect.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, Worthy, for interrupting. It's back to you now.
I forgive you. It's all right.
Thank you.
I don't know how much time we've got. We're coming up to nearly an hour. Mark, is time okay for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I've got a couple of tricky questions now. I do have some fun ones at the end, though. Don't worry. So you're 29 years old.
Yeah.
Approaching the peak of your abilities as a futsal player. What kind of goals and ambitions do you have now?
Yeah. Well, that's really a tricky question, just because I kind of 2 weeks ago, I like not feeling lost, because it's not that word that I'm looking for. But there's a lot of things in life, and futsal is just one aspect. right now, and that's what kept me, on the ground, knowing that futsal is just one time in my life, and it's gonna be a tiny space. I trust, in the average, but I really want to play the global, the worldwide cup,
The World Cup. The World Cup.
the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it to play this year, and I think I was getting there, but it couldn't be possible, and it kept, because of the virus, and it's gone to the next year, and yeah, it's like a motivation for me to wake up every day and okay, I have to be good. I have to to train at a good level, to play at a good level, because the national coach keeps me in his circle, because it's not easy. I mean, we're talking about the best league in the world, and 18% of the players are national. So it's a tough aspect. It's not easy, and for me it would be like the like the candy
Yeah.
in
Sure,
the
make it sense.
but it's a World Cup. I mean, there's nothing more great.
No, exactly. So who is your competition for your spot in the national team?
Yeah, my competition for the last years, it was always Carlo Ortiz, because he's been there like for 15 years or more. I don't know what's gonna happen next, because he's going to play in France right now. But I mean, he's in the level. He's in good shape. He's always been in good shape, and I think he's gonna go. And well, we had like a different in the various in the last years. Let me say, last 5 years that I've been playing with the national team. We've had in my position like 4 to 5 players, but the only one that has kept going, besides Ortiz, is me, and that maybe could could be a sign, but I don't want to take it as that, because
Yeah.
that for me would be a mistake, because I would get comfortable, and say, okay, the position is mine, and that's what I was saying earlier, that I don't get that feeling, Maybe it's for lack of confidence in myself. I don't know, but I want to keep it that way, because that makes me work harder and keep at it.
Yeah. And also earlier, you when Xavi asked you about your highlights, we spoke a bit about the European Championships.
Yeah,
You actually scored in the final, and you didn't mention it.
yeah.
You must be the only player who ever wouldn't mention that.
Because we didn't win.
I guess there was that. Okay, so I think those are all my serious questions.
Yeah, I think we've got a few questions from the public. So I think one that is quite interesting is a question from Ian. So what advice would you give to a 12-year-old Marc Tolra, knowing what you know now about becoming a futsal player, about professional futsal player?
I think I wouldn't give any, because I'm really and very grateful that my career has been, as far as now, really great since the day that I started to play. Not at 12, but at 8. I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. Even in what happened in Barcelona 2 years ago, I wouldn't change it, because that's what makes me. I mean, I think I'm better player, I'm better person, because of all of the years, all of the experience, and everything that has happened to me since I was started to play. I was starting to play at 8, and from Barcelona I was started at 12 years old. But I wouldn't say anything. I would say only enjoy it, and do everything you can to have fun, and to take it professional. I mean, it's not a joke. You're not I mean, I'm a privileged people, because or guy, because I played for Barcelona, but don't take it like it's a responsibility, like kind of Spider-Man thing, but it's really there. It's really it. I mean, enjoy it. Just that.
Very, very interesting. So I think another interesting question is, Louis was asking if you would consider a career in coaching after you finish your professional futsal career, and if you did, what would your style be as a coach?
Yeah, I get that question a lot because I like to think in terms of tactics and strategy, and I like to read the game. I understand, or I quite understand the game, the concept, and I like work. I like to prepare myself. I like to talk to the others. I mean, I'm not an egoistic player. I know my ability is to make the others better, but at the same time, I need the others to fulfill me. I have a good pass. I have a good assist, but if I don't have a good movement, I cannot express my strength. So for me, a collective and cooperative game and sport, its foundation is that. I mean, no one plays alone. No one can play alone, and no one is better than the other one because everyone is related and everyone needs the other one. So, I mean, I don't think it right now because I think I'm fed up with the troubles, with having no weekends, having no summer. It's since I have, it's like 10 to 12 years now that I don't have that normal life, and I don't regret it. I mean, I enjoy it, I like it, but just to think that have the same life for another 20 to 30 years, knowing that the position of coach, it's really hard because it's not like a player that, okay, my contract is going to be 4 years, 3 years. A contract of a coach is not 3 to 4 years. It's like 2 years, and if the results doesn't get well or are not matching what you were saying or the expectations, the first to get kicked out is the coach. So right now I'm not thinking a lot, but you never know. And to the second question, I don't really. I like it, as I said before. All the coaches that I had pass me or transfer me some info that I like it, or that I could use. But for example, I like, obviously I really know. I don't know him personally, but Phil Jackson, the coach of the Chicago Bulls, the team, the basketball. I read the two of them books of him, his books. I really like his philosophy, like his approach, and I can relate to that. Obviously it's another sport, and I don't mean it in the tactical way, but his approach, the team above the player. Well, that's what defines me a little. So I would like to.
Yeah. So I've got a question which is related to coaching. So basically, what advice would you give to kids in England that want to become a professional futsal player? What would you tell them? What would you coach them?
I mean, it's difficult because I don't know what's the structure of England's league, what's the future of that sport in that country, But when you're a kid, you have to enjoy. If you're not enjoying it, you're not doing it well.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be okay. Now I have practice. That's not the mood you have to be in to go to train. First of all, if you gotta enjoy it. If you're not enjoying, you're not gonna be able to want more about that. But after that, I don't know what coaches are coaching. I don't know what's, as I said, the structure of the pathways. But I mean, technical structure or technical emphasis. It's going to develop it by itself. I know what we need, I think personally, in the kids is that they have the ball. We don't have to teach him to pass at a certain age, because the first thing that you have to be able is to control the ball, and we don't see it a lot of course in the elite, but you can see people that are not controlling or are not controlling the ball really good. Some resemble a football, touching it with the inside of the foot, instead of the back of the foot, that gives more control. But that's like specificity. I mean, the main thing is like they have to enjoy it, and they have to want more about that.
Yeah. Okay, so one last question before we go back to you, Worthy. So Sean was asking, which players did you admire growing up? And now that you're at ElPozo, have you had any kind of contact, any links with Kike?
Yeah, I mean, Kike was one of the players that I didn't admire a lot of players, because for me to admire, I have to know him. I cannot admire a player if I don't know how he is as a person. I mean, before a player, there's a person. But yeah, there were definitely players that I like to play like, and one of them was Kike, Alvaro, Jordi Torres, Saad. People like as myself have that control of the game, that capability to read the game. And yeah, I have contact. Obviously, we like to talk to each other because we are both like good talkers. We think alike, and yeah, he and we're building a team right now, because there's a lot of young people, and like I'm like some kind of a father. But yeah, I like to talk with him any time.
Okay. Back to you, Ricardo.
You also spoke about players not controlling the ball properly. I'm guessing you've played with Xavi recently.
A lot of years. We played a lot of years.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the more relaxed round. So all the serious questions are over. Okay. So relaxed. So the first question is: Xavi is always telling us that he's better than your brother. So does that mean he's better than you as well?
No, he's not better than my brother, for real.
Really?
Better than me? I don't know.
Okay, so you said you don't know what the level of futsal is like in England in terms of the National League.
I mean, I know that a couple of years back, maybe 5 or 4, there was one team like Baku that played the UEFA that had like I think it wasn't a Middle East chief.
Yeah, Baku.
And actually, I got a call, not me personally, but my agents, and to go play there. But it was just lasted 1 year, I think, or 2 years, and then that's what happens, when the entire structure is not growing. That's why I don't like the teams that, okay, from 1 year to another, create a big team out of money, and because that's not gonna last. Maybe 1 year, the next year they win because they have a lot of great players, but I like to construct. I like the process of changing the mentality to a winning one. But yeah, I know that that's not you are guys in England 1 step or 2 steps before us.
So if you get a call from a guy called John Current about a club called Pro Futsal, I think it might be worth listening to.
Yeah.
Possibly. Okay. I don't know if I can share my screen, actually. No. My screen. Do you remember this picture?
Yeah, Xavi sent it to me. I think it was yesterday, reminding me of my own goal. I was happy about that, as it seems.
So just for everyone's benefit, Barca had just lost 6-1 at home to Magna, but Mark's kindly given me a shirt of the Magna player because he used to
Great.
play.
No. Let me stop you right there. The greatest Magna player.
Yeah. The
same.
And that guy, we talk about idols, that guy is definitely one of my idols.
Yeah, him, Echeverri would be a person that I would admire most of comparing to the other players that I didn't know or that I don't know, because he's like such a beautiful but nice, interesting, and motivational person. It always pushed me. It always pushed me to be better. He always arrived first. He always left the last. He always was there with a smile. That's what I look for. What I would like to become. Someday, like to have 35, 36 years, even 40. That like he was playing. He was to blame, and have that kind of energy. Even when you are when your team is like 10 to 15 years younger than you. That's what struck me, and I said, well, I want to be like him as a person. Knowing that as a player, it's been one of the greatest of Spanish players too, because he's won 2 European Cups. He lost the final with Brazil to the World Cup. I think it was 08 or 12. I mean, there's no better than him, and he kept playing just for one team 20 years, and he kept going to the national team and playing with kids. That's what I would like to be, or that's what I admire more than to be able to score like 100 goals.
The person behind the player. We've got a guy, Louis Pye, as well. He's also said that you had a lot of time for all the fans, and he had his picture with you as well. So, bit of a fan group, Mark. My last 2 questions are in Catalan, so apologies for the non-Catalan speakers in the
Let me hear it.
in the chat. So the first one is, si ya tens una Marciano?
It's not easy to understand everybody here, because some of them are really like close, like they're eating the last words. But no, I don't have it. I don't will ever.
Es difícil.
¿Eh?
Muy difícil.
Muy difícil.
Muy difícil.
Okay, last question from me. ¿Por qué portas els mitjons tan amunt?
Yeah, Xavi told me that, but I think you mean the pants?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, pants are not mitjons.
Més o menys.
You've done well, Richard. You've done well.
Yeah, nice try. No, it's not. It's the thing is that I have really long legs,
and really high shorts.
And no, because I put my shirt under my pants, so as I have long legs, it seems, because my pants are like an L size, like it's not like an M or an S. It's just that I have really long legs, and I like to play with my shirt under my pants. So that's my signature,
Yeah, it's a style. It's cool. There's an English player called Lee Catamol. I'll send you a picture. I'll make sure Xavi sends you a picture.
Okay.
He has short.
Do we have any more? Do we have any more questions from the public? Anyone else wants to ask anything? So I think if no one else wants to ask anything, we could. I got a couple of questions before we go, because that might actually be very interesting for all the coaches here in England. So you've been back at training with ElPozo for the last few days. So could you tell us a little bit the approach that the coaches are taking with all the situation? Because we might be in a position in England in which we can go back to training in a month's time with some measures. So how is it been like?
Well, it sucks. I mean, that's what it is, I mean, we didn't stop training. Like we had to keep our physical condition. I mean, the first 2 months it was like really hard because we weren't able to go outside, and we just had to train here at home. And a lot of us didn't have some or a lot of material, but well, we kept that, and we get back to work really good. And for last week, I think it was the first time that we started to train by groups. We divided the team in two groups, and then we went to a private club that owns our manager. That it's closed, obviously, to the public, but there has two courts, a gym station. And then we made couples, and every couple was in a station, like for half an hour. One couple or one pair is training at gym. Another is making a metabolic circuit, and then another is like in a technical station, and then we're gonna rotate like every half an hour. Then the first week we just trained 1 hour, like to get going. We cannot start like training 2 hours because it's gonna be a disaster. And then right now, this week we started to go to the arena, like which just us. We cannot. At the same time, we are divided. We maintain these two groups, and we maintain these stations. I mean, for example, one station is in the main court, like one player by each half, and then there we have like with the coach, like technical aspects, with more, obviously, with more space and ball to keeping up our training with the ball, or technical, our rhythm, increasing our rhythm with the ball. That's what makes a difference. And then we have there's another arena that we have a metabolic circuit, and we have the gym. I mean, the strategies or the path is like trying to keep everybody doing something, and then rotate. And at the end of the week, that everybody has done 2 times every station.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Jamie was asking if during this period of lockdown, if you have learned about yourself, and if you've learned something, any futsal skill that you're going to put into practice once you go back to training.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very busy, really, because I started, or I get back to my my college degree. I was, and I'm still doing a couple certificates online, and that has kept me busy. But there's always time to reflect on oneself, and as a matter of fact, yeah, I had a talk with a psychologist that we were working with in Benfica, that we had a really good relationship. We're friends, and we had a talk, and he asked me that, and like, what can you update? What can you upbring on your performance, on your specificity in your play, that could take you to another level, because there's no ceiling. And yeah, I mean, I have to get back that scoring capability, because for the last 2 to 3 years I've been focused only, not because I wanted to, because I was kind of pushed to stay more on the constructive area of the game and the defensive area. When you play with Barcelona, that you have Corral, and you have 5 guys that can score like 30 plus goals each season, you don't have to worry about you scoring goals. That's the difference between playing with the teams that are aiming to win championships, and playing with the teams that you as a player want to do your best to get traded to those teams, that the winning team. When you're playing with a winning team, you have to find your place. And my role as my kind of like my kind of play was more tactical related. My role was like constructive, assist, and defensive. And then I lost my scoring capabilities, you know. But yeah, that's something that I have to improve again, you know, to reach the goal, to be a possibility in the offensive matter of the game.
Mm-hmm. Very good. I've got one last question before we go, and if no one else has any questions, we'll just put closure to this very interesting conversation. So, as we all know, the Spanish league is presumably going to resume in the next 3 to 4 weeks with a speed version of playoffs. What expectations do you have? Are we going to see ElPozo being crowned the champions?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying for that, and we're working really hard. I mean, really hard. But I don't know. I don't know what's the situation. I know they are talking right now to that the playoff could extend as long as July, and well, I don't like it, you know, because it's really hot. You know, there's not a lot of time to prepare yourself because of the situation. Yeah. But
the Final Four as well.
Yeah, we have the Final Four that we don't really know right now when it's gonna be, but they say it's gonna be in later August or early September. But anyway, our main focus right now is the end of this season. We're trying, we're working, we're training, we're doing what we can with the situation, and we're training to win, obviously. And we don't know yet the format that's going to be the playoff. It's going to be the best of 3 in the quarterfinals, the best of 3 in the semifinals, and the best of 5, like it's usually, or it's going to be expressed like a Spanish Cup, like a death game. And you know, we're like that, you know, on the expectative. So expecting what's gonna be, because today is one thing and tomorrow it's another thing. You know, we are all looking about in the health department of the government what they saying about the virus, because that's what at the end really determine if we're gonna play or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything to add, Worthy?
No, just thanks again for your time, Marc. I look forward to playing with you at Pro Futsal in a couple of seasons' time when you give up playing professionally.
Yeah, I would like to.
I'll make sure I get that sorted.
We'll see. Okay. We'll see how are you guys in a couple of years.
Okay, so thanks everyone for joining in. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I think most of us in here consider you one of the best futsal players in the world. So having the opportunity to talk to you is just impressive, you know. So thank you very much. And yeah, so we got quite a lot of thank you from the public. So yeah, you want to say anything you want to say, Marc?
Yeah, no, thank you guys for letting me speak with you and have this talk. I mean, it's always great to talk about futsal, about those sports. And if I'm able to help you in your country and to try to give you some cues about how to develop young talent or the structure itself, I mean, it's a pleasure, and it's always a pleasure to see that pineapple up in your head.
I knew it was coming. Okay, let's put an end to that here then. Thanks, Worthy, for hosting it with me. Always a pleasure. And yeah, Marc, all the best for the playoffs. And let's stay in touch. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.